Okay, our first presenter is Ms. Glenna Kroom. She has spent 19 years in public education. She is currently a special education teacher in Prince George's County Public Schools. During her tenure as a special educator, she has worked with high school, middle school, and elementary school students with physical, emotional, or con- cognitive disabilities. Glenna has a Master's of Science in Special Education from Canisius College and a Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology from St. Bonaventure University. Now give it up for Ms. Glenna.
Right. Thank you for the rounds of applause. I'm very happy to be here talking about a subject that children your age face every single day. As a school teacher, walking through the school building from high school, elementary, middle school students, I see how children are affected by bullying and by having self-esteem issues that start when they're very young. So today, I just want to talk to you, give you some definitions so you can identify if in fact you are being bullied, or maybe your friend or sister or classmate is being bullied, and different tools that you can use to support them. And also talk about self-esteem and self-concept and how building yourself up through self-talk, positive engagements can help you not only avoid being bullied, but fall into the trap of being a bully yourself. So we're gonna jump right in to the presentation, and the first thing I want to talk about is what is bullying. We've seen a lot on the news, social media. Today it seems like a buzzword. I know in the schoolhouse, children are always, I'm being bullied, not necessarily knowing that there is a real working definition of what it means to be bullied. And the first thing when we talk about being bullied is a behavior that's among school-age children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. So that's the first thing you need to think about, the power imbalance. It doesn't mean that one is stronger than the other. It could mean that, but it also means maybe one student is more popular than the other student. So they're using their popularity as a way to bully another person. It could be money influences. Maybe one person has more money than somebody who is dealing with poverty. And so they use that to create a power struggle, and they use that to bully other children. So that's the first thing that you have to have in order to be considered bullying. You have to have an imbalance of power. The second thing is a repetition. Bullying isn't just teasing for 1 or 2 days, but it's a pattern that was repeated over and over and over again. And a lot of our children go to neighborhood schools, starting from kindergarten all the way through 6th grade. So a lot of times they're in the schoolhouse with the same children who were bullying them in 1st grade. It's the same kids that show up in 3rd grade. It's the same children that show up in 6th grade. And we'll see from parents sometimes will call and be like, he's been bullied since he was in 1st grade. That's a pattern. It's repetition. It's over and over. They can't escape it. They thought over the summer maybe somebody changed, but they showed up the next year and the same children were there exhibiting the same behavior. So when you're talking about bullying, you're talking about an imbalance of power and a repetition. So keep that in mind as we go through the slides, because I know right now some of your brains are probably thinking, hey, was I bullied, or have I ever been the bully? Here are some statistics about bullying. If you look at the screen, I'm not sure if you can see it that clear, so I'm going to read a couple that stand out. And when you see these percentages, I want you to think about it as out of 100. So a number like 20% of U.S. students in grades 9 through 12 experience bullying. When you see 20%, you might, oh, that's not a whole lot, but think of it as 1 in 4. 1 in 4 children walking around a schoolhouse is experienced or have experienced a form of bullying, an imbalance of power. Every day they're going to school and being picked on for one reason or another. What is that doing to their self-esteem and their self-concept? A number like 70% of young people say they have seen bullying in their schools. That's over 3/4. 3/4 of the children in our schools today have seen, witnessed a classmate being bullied. And then this bottom number right here where it says 41% of school staff say they witness bullying once a week or more. That's the teachers, the custodians, the cafeteria workers. So if school is supposed to be a safe space, because you think about children from K through 12, that is your social circle. This is a place that you go to 8 hours a day. And if you can't be safe in a space that you go 8 hours a day, that is very damaging. If you can't feel comfortable going to school because you're being bullied, or you're not part of a peer group, or you're not part of the popular kids, or you don't have the clothes that your other classmates might have, think about how over time, year after year, that can work to wear on your self-esteem, wear on your self-concept. So even though these numbers might not seem like a large amount, even if one child is experiencing that, think about the impact that has on that child's education. And think about the impact education has on life choices and how powerful that is. So keep those numbers in mind as we go through. There are 4 types of bullying. Bullying comes in many forms. Sometimes people can encounter verbal bullying. It's saying or writing mean things, teasing, name calling. We see that a lot with our elementary school children, that it'll start off with, talking about their physical characteristics. I know I was bullied because I had a gap, and I guess I was the only person in the world who had a gap because they sure found a way to tease me about that. So that verbal bullying is saying or writing mean things, teasing, name calling, inappropriate sexual comments. Some of you might be nodding your head in the inside going, yeah, that happened to me before. So verbal bullying. Social bullying is sometimes referred to as relational bullying. Involves hurting someone's reputation or relationships, leaving someone out on purpose. You can't sit with us in the cafeteria. Or no, I'm saving this seat for somebody else. We do that. I know I have. Saving a seat for a friend, but think about the person who took the risk to try to sit next to you and how you rejecting them in that moment really hurt them and made them feel isolated in that moment, okay? So social bullying is something that we see a lot of in our schools, middle schools and high school. Physical bullying involves a much more aggressive form of bullying where you're hurting the person or their property, you're destroying, even if it's taking their paper and throwing it in a garbage, it could be physically harming their bodies, just violent behavior. And D, cyberbullying. Now this is a type of bullying that I didn't grow up with because I'm much older than cell phones and the internet. I remember the first year I got an email, same email I had since I first started teaching. It's like, oh, email, interesting. But now, like, the children are teaching me things. So cyberbullying is something maybe even your parents never really had to experience. But this is a very popular form of bullying. And we see it a lot with our high school kids. Cyberbullying takes place over digital devices like cell phones, computers, tablets, iPods, anything that you could access social media with. You'll have a form of cyberbullying. So we're going to take another look at the cyberbullying because that's one that's very popular among the teen population. So the most common places where cyberbullying occurs, social media such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all the other social media pages that the older people don't know about. I know y'all have secret pages that y'all go to that we don't know about on your phones. So also text messaging, emails, and instant messaging via devices like emails. So raise your hand in here if you have one of these or access to one of these types of devices. And you can be found messaging your friends when you're supposed to be asleep or messaging your friends when you're in class, and how instantly they're able to get that message. Now you might be using it for good. What was the homework again? Tell mom that I'm gonna be late. But some people are using those in not so good ways to spread rumors about their classmates. And as soon as they send that text, it's gone to 10 or 12 people. So no longer is the argument just me and you. Now the argument has traveled all the way to classes and children that I don't even know about. I don't even know who these children are. Why are they looking at me funny? Why are they laughing at me when I walk down the hall for something that happened in a class they weren't even in? That's how the cyberbullying can have an effect on the child that's being bullied, because it's very fast and you can't take it back. Once it's out there, it's gone. That's what makes cyberbullying very damaging to the self-esteem of individuals who are being bullied. Let's see. Here are some cyberbullying tactics that you may have witnessed or personally been involved in one way or another. Posting, and that's just posting on social media pages about your classmates. It's another form of verbally teasing, but you're doing it through social media. Threatening, using your cyber skills to threaten your classmates. Meet me outside. But instead of just me and you meeting outside, I've also sent it to 30 more people. So all 30 of us is gonna meet you outside, okay? Pretending to be someone else online. That's a form of bullying. They don't know who they're really texting, but you're pretending to be a boy in their class that they like, or their friend, so they're willing to tell you information that they normally would because you're pretending to be somebody else. That has happened. We've seen it on the news in a lot of extreme situations where children were involved with that type of bullying, and it ended in very sad ways. Another form is creating web pages or Facebook pages, pretending to be that person that you're bullying in order to present false information about them. And the last one, doxing, I didn't really know what this was till maybe a year ago when I saw it on social media. And that's a form of putting a person's information all online. Their address, their telephone number, their email addresses, in the hopes that you get a whole lot of people sending them mean, nasty information, sometimes even showing up to their houses, sending the police to their houses, pretending like there's bad things happening inside their their homes. So doxing is a very invasive form of cyberbullying because you're actually exposing the person to who knows what, and you're putting it online. And online, we don't know who's actually reading this stuff, and you can't erase it. It's not as simple as you can't move out of your house. So it's a very destructive form of cyberbullying. Let's go. So who's at risk?